What is a podcast land? Episode number 103, featuring Christian Grey, is brought to you by Silence in Solitude. Based out of southern New Jersey, Silence in Solitude is a metalcore quintet that consists of Shane Roxas, Colby Hempel, Cody Mitchell, Alexander Coates, and Justin Pomper. The band, formed in early 2015, made their debut in September of the following year, having spent the previous year writing and recording. They released their debut album, Resurgence, in December of 2016, which debuted at number 20 on iTunes Metal Charts. I'm pretty sure they beat some big-time names that week, too. You never know. They probably did. I'm going to go out on record saying that they beat Slayer. Yeah, that just happened. Silence in Solitude beat Slayer that week. They have released music videos for their singles Suffering, Deceiver, and for their cover of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. Every time I read that sentence, I just have to sing. I don't know why. From New Transcendence, they had to say, Resurgence is a must-listen for 2016, without a doubt, especially for fans of metal and its subgenres. If you're looking for something that is emotionally powerful, but not too whiny, aggressive, but not hate-filled, and will stand the test of time, this is the album you've been searching for. For more information, visit www.silenceinsolitude.com. Episode 101 is also brought to you by Old Self, based out of Toms River, New Jersey, right next to Seaside, right next to the Jersey Shore House. Yeah, that show sucked, but this band doesn't. Old Self fleshes out ambient rock melodies with poetic arrangements while using people's stories as the concepts and lyricism for their songs. They help bring people's dark thoughts to the public in a very unique manner. Their hope is to reach out to not only their fan base, but to everyone they come across with in a therapeutic way. Recently pairing up with the nonprofit organization A Voice for the Innocent, they are working on furthering their outreach in hopes they can help as many people as they can in a positive way through music. For more information, they're on Facebook, Twitter, and the Instagram under Old Self Official. Last but certainly not least, episode 103 is brought to you by From the Deafs. Forming in 2012, From the Deafs is a 5-piece metalcore band hailing from northern New Jersey. They have 2 releases under their belt, their EP, The Last Time, and their full-length Animosity. Along with playing shows as much as possible, they're writing more music for another release coming in the near future. For more information, they're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram /FromTheDeafsNJ. That's Facebook.com /FromTheDeafsNJ, Twitter.com /FromTheDeafsNJ, and Instagram, you guessed it, Instagram.com /FromTheDeafsNJ. Now let's get into it. Today features, me. It features myself speaking with Christian Grey, a villain of the story, and it starts right now. From out of the wasteland of generic podcasts and radio shows, one has emerged. It prides itself on having conversations with the most talented musicians from all over the world. If you like a boring question and answer interview, this isn't for you. If you want deep conversations about anything and everything, you've come to the right place. Your new favorite show starts now, and its name is Behind the Barricade.
How's it going?
What's up, man?
Just hanging out.
Hanging out, having fun?
Not as much fun as I had hoped. I was in line for Chipotle, but it was taking too long, so I just went home.
Ah, damn. There's nothing worse than a long line at Chipotle.
Right? You just want it so bad.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could go to Taco Bell or some other Mexican joint, and you don't feel too bad waiting in line. But at Chipotle, where everything is, like, quick, you get up there, they don't care who the fuck you are. They're like, okay, what do you want? It's like a burrito. What do you want? What meat? Carnitas. And then it's like a great assembly line, but it always gets backed up no matter where you go.
Yeah, and it's just, I absolutely love the food. So it's like, I can't even compare it to like Taco Bell or anything.
Yeah, I think Chipotle is more real food than Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell has that little meat in like a tube type of deal.
Yep.
And I am not down with that.
No, I mean I'll still eat it when I have to because there's no other options. But 'cause it's still good. It's just I don't want to think about that when I'm eating it.
Yeah, I mean they always have some odd options too. It's like, yeah, we're open for breakfast. It's like, I don't really want to eat you at 3 a.m. What makes you think I want to come back at 8? Ugh. And that new item they had, the one like the taco in like a fried chicken shell. Did you see that?
No, I had no idea.
Oh my god, it's like a weird mix of KFC and Taco Bell. Two things you really don't want mixed together.
Yeah, ironically, where I grew up, there was a Taco Bell / KFC in one building.
Yeah. They're doing that a lot. Like I know in New York City they do that a lot. It's either Taco Bell with KFC or KFC with Pizza Hut. I think all of them are under like the same like chain or like the same company, so
Wouldn't doubt it.
ugh. It's all still disgusting. But when you're out on the road when it's like 2 a.m, you're like, shit, we need something.
Yep, options are limited.
Absolutely. Where are you calling from?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Nice, man, nice. Vikings fan?
I mean, I'm not really a huge sports person to begin with, but yes. And my stepmom also does some IT work or something for the Vikings. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah, family's pretty into it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Plus, you had that killer concert at the new stadium with Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold, and Volbeat.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to that, but I think it was the day prior or 2 days prior. Avenged Sevenfold got in town early, so at
Oh yeah, I heard about
a
that.
venue called First Ave. It's like a 1,500 cap room. And it was like they just held out a show there, and it was the first 1,500 people that showed up got in for free. So I stood in line for like 6 hours with Logan, the other vocalist, my brother.
Yeah.
And it was so awesome because we've always seen them at huge festivals or I don't know. There's a venue called the Target Center across the street, which is massive. But
Yeah, like an arena.
yeah. And it's cool. We actually got to see them in a smaller venue. It was really cool.
Dude, those are always the best shows. Like, I just saw Green Day at a place called Starland Ballroom, New Jersey, 1,500 cap, and just seeing it's like a huge arena show in a small ass area, and of course everyone was on top of each other. But, dude,
Dang.
crazy.
I've never seen Green Day. That would have been awesome.
Dude, Green Day, I don't care if they're 35, 45. They could go up to 85 and still put on a rocking show. Like, they have no signs of quitting whatsoever.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's
they were the band that got me into music. So
nice, man. What album did it? Was it American Idiot, Dookie?
yeah, it was American Idiot. When I was just sitting on I don't remember how old I was, but I was pretty young. But I was just at my dad's for a family get together or something, and they had On Demand when that was new, and there was the music section and everyone was taking turns just playing music, and I'm like, well, I don't know what any of these bands are because I didn't really listen to music. And then I just saw a thumbnail of Billy Joe with the red tie. I'm like, okay, who's this guy? Clicked on it and I was hooked from the first time I heard. I'm like, whoa, what is this band? And then I got into music.
Dude, it's crazy. So many people have these great stories of just finding stuff accidentally. The first time I actually heard of My Chemical Romance, I went to a local show, and they were the opening band. I'm like, okay, whatever. And they played. I'm like, holy shit, these guys are going to be huge. And everyone's like, no, the fucking singer looks like he's fucking the guy from The Cure. He can't sing. He's doing a little raspy thing. I'm like, no, these guys are going to be huge. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And then fast forward 2-3 years later when 3 Cheers came out, and they're like, oh, okay, maybe they are getting huge.
That's crazy.
God almighty. Just a small little album just makes it huge. It's really great. Compared to you're from Minnesota, so I'm guessing everyone has the adoration for Prince, or did have the adoration for Prince.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing in New Jersey with Bruce Springsteen or Bon Jovi, where if you say you're not a Bruce Springsteen fan, it's blasphemy. It's oh, how could you? Really? You're not into a guy that sounds like a dog dying? It's oh, enough.
No, yeah, I mean, I wasn't a huge Prince fan. I honestly couldn't even probably tell you another song besides like Purple Rain or anything, but it was definitely a big deal when that went down.
Yeah, and like Minnesota, I'm trying to think of like great acts to come out of Minnesota. The only thing I can think of is Four Letter Lie.
Yeah, yep, there was them. I was personally a fan of For All Those Sleeping. If you ever
Yep,
heard them.
yep.
Yep. Yeah, we actually got to play their like last Minnesota show, like their farewell one.
Oh wow.
That was insane. That was like kind of like our first like show with like a bigger band for Villain of the Story. It was crazy.
Wow. Thank God you didn't become the band that plays only farewells.
Yeah. No, we've done quite a few like with friends, local bands and stuff, but people just gotta like keep with it. Too many people are like kind of calling it quits.
Yeah, and it's only getting harder out there because no one's buying albums anymore. It's all about the streams, and the streams don't get you dick. Like I was talking with Tyler of Being as an Ocean, and he told me that if you listen to an album 14 times straight, it's the same as buying the album on iTunes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, and then you look at people like Chance the Rapper or Drake or like all these hip hop icons or icons now or popular hip hop artists that are going like platinum, like double platinum because of these streams, and you're like, this kind of doesn't count. But once I heard about like the 14 time for a single album purchase, it's like, okay, all right, maybe it does count a little bit. But
yeah, that actually kind of puts some perspective. We should probably start pushing our Spotify more then. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, well, Spotify needs to get going with all of their royalties and stuff like that. I mean, they're still dicking around a lot of artists.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but like a penny for like 1,000 streams or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's as ridiculous as that, and I think YouTube's like the worst one. Like, put it this way, when you get someone like Nikki Sixx, who was in probably one of the biggest bands in the 80s in Motley Crue, to come out and say YouTube is fucking me on royalties, you have to think of, oh my God, you got this guy's attention.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But, I mean, it is what it is, and obviously, you know, that's why a lot of bands are going out on tours, doing like the VIP packages and stuff like that. Do you guys do any like VIP things, or is it just, you know, come see us after the set and we'll say hi?
Yeah, we've only done 3 tours. The first 2 were kind of smaller, which is us and another band, like kind of like at our level, I guess, or like yeah. So like those we just like kind of hung out and did everything the whole time. But like our first like bigger tour, we just ended on Friday with I Prevail and Wage War, and I mean, we didn't bring any crew out on that one either. It was just us and our photographer. So it was kind of like right when our set was done, Logan and I rushed over to the merch table, and it got pretty crazy because it was like everyone wanted like a picture or something signed, or they wanted a t-shirt in this size and another t-shirt in this size. And we had to deal with like everything at once until the guys were done loading everything. And then they came to the table to help, and then it got easy. But yeah, we just like hanging out at the merch table because you actually get to like really engage and really get to kind of know people, especially when it kind of dies down and you have more time to talk.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jesus.
I understand why bands do the VIP thing because it's like, I mean, if you're charging, I don't even know, but like even if it's like $20 or something, and if 100 people get one, it's like, okay, well, there's another chunk of change right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
On top of like guarantees and merch and everything, so it's definitely a good idea, like as far as money making. But yeah, as of now, we just like hanging out.
Yeah. Is it still kind of strange where people like coming up to you like, oh my God, can I get a selfie? And you're like, with me? Or
Yeah, no, that's like how it is, because like even when we first signed to Stay Sick Recordings, it was like people hitting us up like, oh, you guys are going so far, like what's it like to be famous and a rock star now? And I'm like, dude, we aren't even like close. Like we broke like into that next level out of the, like, I guess the local scene, but there's still a mountain to climb. Like we definitely don't take ourselves that seriously.
It's funny, like you signed to a pretty big upcoming label. Obviously, you have Franz as the poster guy for it. Obviously he runs everything and stuff like that. But everyone, if like you guys, and I think is it Lives It Breathes also on that? On
Yep.
Stay Sick? Yeah. Like a band like that goes on Stay Sick and you're like, oh my god, you must be like Franz. You must have like the big house in Florida. You have like the 10 cars. You're like, not quite.
Like, no, we all still have day jobs still, so.
Oh my god. It's the
Yeah.
absolute worst.
Yeah, but definitely like getting to go on that I Prevail tour, like shout out to I Prevail for like letting us jump on the last 11 shows of that tour when Islander dropped off, because we didn't know what to expect. But I mean, we just had the merch that we had and the albums that we had, and we ran out relatively quickly because we got to play to like sold out crowds every single night because of I Prevail.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, like if we had this many people at our shows, then this is how much money we would be making. Like we wouldn't need day jobs, but we are definitely a long ways away before we can pull that ourselves as like a headliner. It's like the only reason why it happened is because of I Prevail.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely got to keep grinding.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a band that a lot of people think came out of nowhere, but that band was a band for like 2 years before it actually became an official band. Yes, I said band a lot. Fucking deal with it. Not you, but everyone listening. But it's I don't know. Did you happen to see? I want to say it was one of the lead singer's Facebook posts about how he was a pizza delivery boy for 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian. That wasn't me and him specifically talking, but it was somebody else in our band. There's like a big just kind of conversation in the hallway where everyone was kind of talking about that, and then he like went into their green room and then made that big status. It was like, yeah, they definitely get a lot of flack, but I don't think really people are putting two to two together. They just see the cover and think, they just like the biggest point he made when it was like, oh, you're just spending all the money that you're given. And it's like, well, they're making that money first off. They're not just getting the money. And then second, like you're reinvesting it into marketing and advertising, which is the smartest thing to do if you're trying to run a business.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah, especially when there's really not that many options. Like, you'd have to save a good chunk of change to be in alternative press or get a sponsorship on Absolute Punk or Chorus FM, whatever it is now, or even Facebook, where it's like, yeah, just $5 a day, we'll definitely share your stuff to maybe like 50 people, and you're like, okay, wait a second, but if I give them $50 a day, then we're looking at like 10,000 people, and it before you know it, you're up to like $1,000 in marketing for like a month, and you're like, holy shit, I'm spending a ton of money here. But in their case, it's working out, definitely.
yeah, no, if they can. I mean, their album just came out like I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it was like November or October or something. And it was like as of January, they already hit like 150,000 sales. Like they are just absolutely killing the game right now. So it's like they just got to keep doing what they're doing because it's obviously working.
Yeah, and then you have a band like Suicide Silence where they're basically anti-fan at this point, which is bad to say, but obviously. I think where I'm going with everything here, where you have the drummer of the band like sounding off on fans, telling them like they suck and they don't know what good music is and shit like that. Like they really went all in with a new sound, and that's great. You have to go in with a different sound, but then they came off cocky, and the public spoke, and only 5,000 your first week. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean. I was never like huge into Suicide Silence to begin with. I get a lot on this I Prevail tour. I got a lot of like Mitch Lucker comments, like, "Oh, you reminded me a lot of Mitch Lucker," but I didn't really listen to them, so I don't really know. But I guess I would prefer the things I have heard before their new record, but I don't know. I guess I don't really have too much to say on it.
Yeah. It is
like what I've seen. But
what was that? I'm sorry.
Other than like just what I've seen,
yeah.
Like what the press has been saying, what they've been saying. Like I don't know. I think they're kind of digging themselves in a hole at the moment, but
yeah. Hey, you never know. Maybe in another year or two, they'll be opening for you guys. You never know.
Maybe.
But anyways, I actually just listened to your debut album on Spotify, so you're welcome for that couple pennies I gave you.
Dude, thank you so much, man.
Not a problem. So your debut album, Wrapped in Vines, Covered in Thorns, just came out, what, like a month ago? Was it?
Yeah, almost a month ago, yeah. March 3rd.
So I had no idea what you guys sound like, so I'm like, okay, let me put it on. First song I hear, I'm like, okay, this sounds like the Browning a little bit. And then, either you or your brother, I'm not too sure who does the screams.
We both scream.
Okay, who does the Frankie Palmieri Amir type of screams?
That is me.
Okay. I heard that, I was like, okay, that's another level. And then I hear the clean singing, which isn't like it's actual singing. And I say that in a good way because a lot of these bands do like whining.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing this, I'm like, oh my god, there was like layer after layer after layer. In the middle of the album, I'm like, oh my god, this could be on mainstream rock radio. This could be on, these guys can tour with, Megadeth, or they could tour with like Fit for an Autopsy. Like everything's going through my mind. I'm like, and then I completely forgot that this is only your debut album.
Dude, awesome. Thank you so much, dude.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Like, I don't even know how to ask this question, but how did this whole thing begin? Like, how did you come up with the idea of mixing electronic with, deathcore, with every other type of core, with cleans, with like Amity Affliction type of cleans and stuff?
I mean, I guess like when we came out with our EP, even our EP, I think, because we don't set out to be original or like the most crazy songwriters. Like we just write whatever we personally can jam to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we listen to a bunch of different type of styles of music. So like when we wrote the EP, we were just kind of like getting things in place. But even there, like there were 6 songs, and each song was metalcore technically, but they each had a different like kind of version of the types of metalcore. I'm not like huge into subgenres like, oh, this ain't metalcore, it's post-hardcore. Like I'm not like one of those guys. But when it came time for the album, it was just like, what do we feel like writing? And we wrote like 3 or 4 like of heavy songs that we're used to, but then we're like, we definitely gotta, not like have to, but like we were feeling it, like, okay, let's do like a Breaking Benjamin type song. So then we wrote Powerless, which was kind of like a softer song.
Yeah.
And we finished one song and then we go on to the next one, and what kind of vibe do we want to go for on this? Like, I've been jamming a lot of this recently. And then like Logan would write a chorus and say, yeah, can you like listen to this song? 'Cause I've been listening to this song, which is what inspired this chorus. And then, I don't know, it was like just all over the place with the influences and stuff. But yeah, we write whatever we wanted to write. We didn't want to have 11 songs that sounded the same, which, no disrespect to like most metalcore bands that do that, because, you're sticking to your genre, which is awesome. But like we didn't want to have, because there's so many metalcore bands at this point, we didn't want to have a record where, yes, all 11 songs are quote unquote badass heavy songs, but only 2 or 3 of them are going to stand out over the other songs, to where we only will have people listening to 2 to 4 songs off the record after a couple months or something. Like we wanted every song to be like its own song for somebody. And that was kind of the coolest thing about the response we've been getting so far, is it seems like everyone has a different favorite song, or like a different list of their favorite 3 or something. There's like, I don't know, it kind of just like touches on almost all the kind of like styles, and it's all shit that we really, really like to listen to. So, when people want to say like, it's like egotistical to listen to your own music or whatever, if that's what people want to think, that's cool. But it was just the coolest feeling when we finished recording, to just like sit down and listen to it. And we could listen to it like 3 times front to back in a row, just because we're like, it's refreshing. Like it doesn't sound like we just listened to the same song 11 times. Like it took you on a journey. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about because the last, I want to say it was the last Atreyu album. It followed the exact same format every single song to the point where I'm like, okay, he's screaming. Okay, here comes the clean bridge. Okay, the clean chorus. Okay, he's back to screaming on and off. With this one, I'm like, is this the same band? Did this go on a fucking random? And it was, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, it sounds like a greatest hits album of a band that's been around for 20 years.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I swear to God. I mean, most of the time, like I hear stuff like this, and like sometimes it is all over the place. You know, not talking about your music. I'm talking about like music in general, where you have a random metalcore band. They're like, you know what? Let's throw some dubstep into it, and then they do, and it's like, ugh, why is this here? This doesn't sound good at all. And then this one, like your album, basically, there's some tracks that highlight the I hate to say it, the EDM, the electronic part of it, and then there's some that's right in the background, and you're like, okay, wait a second, no two songs are alike here, no matter which way you look at things. And then you end up throwing an interlude on there, which usually bands would do if they're like, yeah, we're running out of tracks here, yeah, let's just do some kind of weird thing, and that's actually fucking good.
Dude,
So yeah, so it's hard to find. I mean, it's hard to find any criticisms with this. I don't want to say like it's a perfect album because I don't think anything is a perfect album.
Right.
But
Yep.
this is a solid 9 or 9.5 out of 10, dude.
Dude, that means a lot. That's so cool, dude. Like, so much went into making this album. We sat on it for like almost a year, just like dying to release it. So it's like the fact that you can just check it out and like that's your thoughts on it. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, man. Damn. Now the hard part is the sophomore album.
Yes, right. Because you can have a good debut, but if you drop the ball on that next album,
You got that sophomore slump, man.
Yep.
Happens to so many bands.
But the thing with that is like we're already like writing, not like sitting down and like writing, but like we already have like 4 choruses and like riff ideas, and for like the next record, and I totally envision and see the direction on the next album, and I would assume like we'll capitalize on any success off this album, but obviously that's subject to the listener because some people like some songs, some people don't like the same song. But at the moment, I'm pretty stoked with the music we've been writing for the next record too. So
is that a mixture of what, classical and gangster rap?
Like a little bit on one song. Definitely want to like just go all out classic like Mozart on one song just to kind of show our true musical abilities there. But
Dude, why not, man?
no, dude, I honestly wish I was a lot better at like writing orchestra and symphony stuff. Like I love that stuff on metalcore songs, but I'm not very good at actually like making it. that's where it's like how you were saying, hard to do like criticisms or whatever, but nothing's perfect. It's like there are so many things on our album that I still wish we could go back and redo or add. Like I hear, there would have been something perfect to go right here, but at the end of the day, it's just art, and it's never going to be finished. So,
yeah. And the worst is when you tinker with something like so bad that it kind of loses its original touch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like we scrapped a song completely. Like it was pretty badass. Like I really liked the instrumental and the lyrics, the vocals and everything, and we didn't actually like professionally record it, but we did like a demo of it, and then we were just like, I don't know, I feel like there could be something different, and then we just scrapped it and rewrote all the instruments, changed the lyrics around a little bit, and it was a complete, like, it was GHC, the first song.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then that one was kind of like created kind of last second, because we were just like, what kind of vibe do we want to give off as the first track? And we thought this is the vibe we wanted, but like we slowed the tempo way down because it was like a really upbeat kind of like heavy song, and then we switched it to be more like melodic and eerie, kind of dark whatever. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's more, yeah, like you said, it's more dark. It's more, I guess, ambient would be the word. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very like a nighttime theme. Like you're not going to go in a club and like rave to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy just to think that, one of your biggest songs was scrapped over and the last thing to come on the record.
Yeah. Yeah, Powerless, the slower one, like the lead single for the album. That one was the very first song written for the album too. So then you got like those ones where like Logan said he apparently like wrote those lyrics and had the melody in his head for like 2 years.
Oof.
And it was when we originally started writing for the album, that was the second song that we wrote musically. But he later informed me, like, yeah, dude, I've been sitting on that for like 2 prior years. So it was like 3 years in the making. But it's crazy.
Holy shit. Like, how do you remember all of that?
I know. I keep telling him, dude, whenever you get an idea, voice memo that shit because you're going to forget it.
Clearly, we're in 2017. There are so many fucking options.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It really sucks, too, because we had other songs, but like the home studio I have is garbage, and I don't really have the money to like just go all out on a really fancy system. But so it's like there were, I think, like 2 songs that in the demo process that the computer just crashed mid-song. Even though I saved it, it corrupted the file. So then we just had to, and we were so mad. It was like not even worth starting over. I don't want to force that song, so we just write something completely different.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love getting like these inside stories about, what it took to come out with this little piece of art where, people like me rave about it, and then you have some idiot on YouTube going, it was okay.
Yeah, dude, and that's honestly like the coolest thing about music is you can go to the comment section and someone will be like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Thank you so much. It helped me in whatever way. And then the next comment is weak, generic. Like, it's like, all right, that's cool. We all have different ears, I guess.
Oh God. And look, I mean, there's such thing as constructive criticism, but like you said, the YouTube comment section, if you really want to have a bad day, just go on there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just watch like a nice puppy video and then go to the comments, fuck that beagle. That beagle deserves to get drowned. You're like, what?
That's how people act on YouTube. Like they're insane.
Yeah, the sick part is it's anonymous. That's the problem.
Yep. It's like I've definitely have like checked out songs and bands where I thought this is absolutely terrible, but I just closed the video and listened to something else. Like I don't dislike, oh, this is so bad, you guys need to break up. Like, what is that gonna do?
Yeah.
Then like just attack someone else. Like, okay.
and then my favorite worst thing I've read is like fucking kill yourself. It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Right? Over what they wrote.
Yeah. And the sick part is like people actually have killed themselves over stuff that happens online, and once they find out about it, if you wrote it, you're going to jail for a long time because you're technically accessory to murder.
Yeah, I mean, people literally do not realize that there are people that read the comments. It's like bands might not respond to every single comment, but for the most part, like at least for us, like we see almost every notification that we get. And it's like I know some go like under the radar and stuff, but like when it comes to YouTube comments, we try to respond a lot, and like we see comments and it's like, okay, we don't really care what people think in the sense of, if someone hates it and leaves a hate comment, whatever, like it's not going to like stop or affect us in any way. But at the end of the day, it does, like, okay, we did put a lot of work into that and someone ripped us a new one. Like, damn, I'm a human. I just read that. But yeah, at the end of the day, people will just be if they want to be rude, they'll be rude. So whatever.
Yeah.
It's just the world.
Yeah, and the funniest part is they'll probably turn out to be your biggest fans. They'll go to like every single one of your shows and then go home at like, yeah, I just saw this band Villain of the Story. God damn, they suck terribly. And then you're like looking at his profile picture like, wait a second, he was front row, he knew every song. What the fuck is going on here?
Dude, we had like, it was in like, before we did like any touring or signing or anything, but it was off our EP. There was like a hate comment. And it was a guy from our area, and it was like we played, I think it was when we played with the Devil Wears Prada when they came to town. I think it was like 2014 and 2015 maybe. But it was like he came up to the merch table afterwards like, oh, with like his buddies. And it was like, oh, like, dude, I know these guys. Like, you guys are like repping Minnesota. You guys are doing big things. Like, cool. And in my mind, I'm like, but you're that one dude that left that nasty hate comment on our YouTube video on our first song. Like, what are you doing here?
Oh my god! And they'll never admit it too.
Oh no, of course not.
Oh god! Like I could understand if you go to if I did like a bad comment, and like I'm not talking about like anything like too crazy, but like, yeah, this song fucking sucks. You guys blow. And then I go see you live and have like a whole different perspective on things. You know what? I would actually admit that. I'd be like, hey, listen, you know, I wrote something shitty online about you guys. Sorry, you now have a new fan. You know, obviously I don't comment anything, but
Yeah.
a lot more people should do that because with each band, it's like you're getting two different types of bands because the bands like you hear live and you hear on like a record, sometimes two different things.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy how you can hear a song over and over and over again and just not like it, but then you see it live and it just hits you like, oh, this is badass. It didn't really deliver for me on a recording, but live it's amazing. It's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, it is. Like the biggest band that or not really the biggest. Well, they are big, but the most recent band for me was Bring Me the Horizon. Like I thought this band was like fucking horrendous. Then I heard Sempiternal. I'm like, oh my, wait, this is the same band. This is fucking wonderful. And then even like I went to their tour with Issues in Paris, and I heard I think it was Chelsea Smile or whatever the one with the secret is. I got a secret. I get some. I thought that song was pure shit on record. I hear it live. I'm like, this is a fucking banger.
Because then you see like the energy and the response from the crowd too, and it like just makes you enjoy it more.
Yeah. Music is fucking strange.
I know, it's so crazy. It's awesome though. It's literally the best thing that we've ever created.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, again, the debut album, Wrapped in Vines, Covered in Thorns, out now on Stay Sick Recordings.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly. This is a weird, like, radio show, because it's not a radio show. There's, like, no commercials whatsoever. It's just, okay, you have a thing to plug. All right, we're plugging it randomly.
Sweet.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? So, Wrapped in Vines, the debut album. So, how did everything come about with Stay Sick?
Like when Franz like first announced that he was doing a label, he was like, comment on our status, and whoever gets the most thumbs up on their comment like can get entered to win or whatever. I was like, all right, we're gonna be working with these dudes one day. I'm not gonna comment. I will comment on it just to like participate, but it was like I emailed him the music video like, hey, I think we'd fit really well. I think you'd like us. Here's our music video. Let me know if you need any more information. He was like, hey, dude, I've actually already heard of you guys. I really like the music video and the song. Please participate in the contest and let's see what you guys can do. And we didn't come close to coming in first place or anything on that contest. But then we won our state's Battle of the Bands for Warped Tour 2015. Mm-hmm. So we played that, and then Attila was playing that year. So he was like, yo, come to my bus when you're done. So then we went there, and it was just the band at the time and Franz, and we just kind of talked about what our plan was, what he would like from bands on his label, and we kind of just got like a basic kind of outline, and then we spent the whole rest of the year writing the record, recording the record, and then we sent it off to other labels and everything. But then we sent it to Franz, and
Is your house on fire?
oh, the oven just went off.
Oh.
Making chicken Alfredo.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it was yeah, he liked the two songs that I sent him, which were GHC and This Apocalypse, and just to kind of show like the two, like the heavy side and the rock side that we were kind of going with, so he didn't get like the impression, oh, it's all heavy or anything.
Yeah.
But he liked those two songs, told me to send on the rest of the record. He liked the record. So then in Warped Tour 2016, Stay Sick Recordings had their own tent. He was like, I'm going to let Mike Milford know that you guys are specifically coming to the tent at this time. So go talk to him. Then we went, talked to Milford, talked about what we wanted from the partnership, and then he's like listed off things that he could offer, and we just kind of like talked ideas, and then like a month later we got a contract, and then yeah.
Jeez, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, we just reached out to Franz, and he told us, keep at it, just gotta like just do a little bit more as a band on our own to prove that we're worth the time. And we just dug deep and figured out a game plan, and then reconnected, and he was like, cool, you guys actually made progress. You didn't like wither away like every other band that tries to like hit us up.
Of course, yeah. Jesus Christ. I could only imagine how many random emails he gets a day of, oh my god, check out my band, you guys are awesome, check this band out, check my band out. It's like, ugh, that drives me nuts.
Yeah, and it's that's the thing that like kind of sucks, I guess, is like there's so many bands.
Yep.
There's so many of those bands that don't know what they're doing and aren't quite there, yet they're the ones flooding the market.
Of course.
So it's like if you just go out to someone and say, oh, I'm in a metalcore band, they're going to just assume, oh, a metalcore band. They're kind of automatically not really going to give you the time of day or even care. But it's like, no, but I genuinely think you would like our music. Just there's so many other not good metalcore bands that have spammed messaged you all over social media to where now you don't even want to give anyone a chance. But
yeah, it is rough out there. You know, there's so many diamonds in the rough that are never going to be heard, and they'll just wither away.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
And that's where it comes back to like just not giving up, because if you have the music and you believe in the music, then just don't. You can't be the one that lets yourself wither away. Otherwise, 100% is never going to happen.
Yeah.
But so many bands just want to like throw in the towel when it gets a little rough, and it's like, dude, we've been there. We've almost broken up before, but then we got to just close out a massive sold-out tour with Hyperveil, and we're kind of like on the rise more than we've ever been ever before. So, you know, cheers to not giving up.
Yeah, really. But not everyone can have a little success story like you have, man. Not everyone can open up for Hyperveil.
No, but like that's the thing is like it wasn't like, oh, we had some rough patches, now we're opening Hyperveil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was like I was gonna quit the band because my vocals were hurting from my scream. Like on our EP, I have a completely different vocal style.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like self-titled Attack, Caleb Shomo sounding screaming.
Oh my god.
So there was like a lot more like push, and it was all throat, and it was like I was getting migraines after our shows. So when it came time to like record the album, I was like just hearing myself in studio, and it was just like, this is so bad and it hurts. I don't like how it sounds anymore. I don't like the pain. And it was like, oh, well, what if we just don't scream at all? Okay, well then what am I gonna do? And then Logan was like, all right, well, I'll just take these songs and rewrite them into like rock stuff, and I'll just like go do like some pop rock act. And everyone was like talking about their own endeavors, and it was like, okay, are we about to break up right now? But then it was like I really, really wanted to learn how to scream better, and it was really hard at first because every scream you hear like has some sort of effect on it, like whether that be like EQ, reverb, or anything.
Yeah.
But then I found a raw like Snapchat video of Dennis Stoff, who was in Ask Alexandria, not anymore, screaming in studio, and I was like, oh, that's how that's supposed to sound with like, nothing on it. Okay, I can try and do that. And then a couple months of practicing that, and it's like, okay, cool. I'm really comfortable with how this sounds. Let's record this album now. But there was like that period where it was like, oh, are we even gonna do this? But
damn, man. Like I said before, I love these behind the scenes stories of what happened, you know, what eventually came about this, and, you know, just to hear that you almost quit the band and actually almost quit screaming. I mean, the screaming basically does it for this album, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like, yeah, going all the way back to that one thing you said, like, I was like, oh, this is actual singing. It was like, I think that's like one thing that kind of sets our band apart is Logan's clean singing. Because I remember when Logan sucked at singing, like when we were younger. Like, I remember when he was really bad. And then because we're stepbrothers, so like he came over every other weekend, like when we were in high school and everything. And like he didn't come over for like 2 times he was supposed to. He was gone for like 2 months, and then when he came back, we were just messing around, and all of a sudden, like, wait, you're singing "The Sinner" by Memphis Mayfire, and you're nailing that high note. Like, how did you learn how to do that? And he's like, what? I hit it really well. You think I'm a good singer? I should practice singing. I'm like, yeah, dude. And then
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm going back to that point. You know, you hear a lot of bands that sound somewhat similar, like you guys, but it's all that little whininess that, you know, instead of actual singing, it's like, and it's like, ugh, my God, shut up. And they love repeating it too.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like that really sells to a certain demographic. And I guess there's money there, so that's why people do it. But, you know, are you in it for the money, or are you in it to just like write something that you really enjoy? So, because Logan can do whiny singing. Like he originally like he could sing, but like without all that grit and kind of like man to his voice. But Johnny Frank, our producer, like in studio, he was like, no, you can do that take. Put a little more butt into it. Try your best to sound like Nickelback on this take. And then that's how like Logan kind of developed that voice. It was crazy.
Wait a second, the producer was Johnny Frank of Attack Attack, or formerly of?
Yep. He's who we've been recording with since the start of the band.
Jesus Christ, he is actually the episode before this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, awesome.
Shit, I wish I knew that.
Yeah. Yep, we've been recording with Johnny. He did our EP and the album.
Wow, yeah. So one of my friends who also helps us out, Kevin, he's like, yeah, so I'm talking with Johnny Frank now. I'm like, why do I know that name? It's like, yeah, he used to be in Attack Attack. He does records and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, go for it, whatever. And then just you bringing it up now, I'm like, oh my God, it's a weird connection here.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, when the band first started and we were told, like, oh yeah, you're going to be recording your EP with Johnny Frank, I was like, what? Attack Attack, Johnny Frank? But it's like now we're super chill and everything, but it was like, I don't even remember how old I was, but I think I was like 17 or something.
Aw, fanboy status.
Yeah, right? It was like when everyone was just a huge magician, pretty much, musician to you at the time, but then you're like, oh, they're just regular people too, just more badass. Okay, cool.
I don't know. Did you ever meet one of your idols and have like a terrible experience?
No. I mean, not at least I've met musicians in this scene that are like, I guess, quote unquote famous, but that were dicks, but they weren't like people I looked up to or anything. So
yeah, I mean, like you have the common expression, you know, never meet your idols and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to think back, like I'm a diehard Linkin Park fan. I don't give a fuck what you say, but I love them to death. And I ended up meeting them twice. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. If I don't fanboy around these guys, I can't really fanboy around anyone. And that's basically like the weird mentality I had until I met, it was Ace Enders of the early November. Like, I didn't fanboy or anything, but I just tried to have like a normal conversation, and that guy was a fucking dick. Ugh. Like, we were talking about like Rise Records. It was right after, not this last album that came out, the one before that. Their first off of Rise Records. And I was like saying like, oh yeah, how do you like the label? Like, the label's fine. I'm like, okay. I was like, I actually had a friend in the band In Fear and Faith, and yeah, they were also on Rise Records for quite a while, and obviously the band is somewhat together now. I'm not even too sure on their situation, but I was like, yeah, I have a friend in that band. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess that's cool. I'm like, okay.
Like, I'm just trying to have small talk here.
Yeah. And then I said something that like offended him, where he basically like turned into like a huge frat boy at a bar. It's like, what, really? That's how you think about things? Jesus, yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's like, well, I used to really look up to you, but
it wasn't even that. It was like, I kind of like I think what was it? The Room's Too Cold. Their second album, or the one that got them famous. I was like, I really enjoyed that album. Now, like, re-listening to it, I'm like, this kind of sucks.
Yep, that guy's a dick.
Dude, but nothing worse, and I'm sorry for everyone listening to this podcast that has been listening to this podcast, but I was in a former local band, and we actually were famous for a day. And you know the band Trapped, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we actually got into a verbal altercation, and
that was you guys?
Yeah.
Dude, I read about that. Yeah, keep going, dude.
Yeah, so it was all over merch. Basically merch tables. Like, we were stuck in the back corner of like the bar for the venue that we were at, and we were given like these two little cocktail tables. And we're like, okay, we can work with this. Next thing you know, there are openers that came in. I forgot, like, Gunslingers at Sunrise or Guns Down at Sunrise, whatever the fuck name of that band was. They came over and they're like, yeah, we have no place to put our merch. So they ended up taking both of those cocktail tables and like, okay, like, what the hell is going on here? So anyways, we were on stage performing, and our merch girl got into it with, I think, the guitarist of Trapped and their tour manager, to the point where, the tour manager came up to me afterwards and told me the situation. I was like, yeah, man, if it's a touring band, they have to sell merch. That's fine. We're a little local band, whatever. So I told the merch girl exactly what to do. I was like, here, just put the stuff on the bar, whatever. So apparently the merch girl went and told our bass player, and our bass player started talking shit about Trapped. Apparently the lead singer heard it and actually, I don't want to use the word hunted down, but tracked down our bass player. And if you watch the video, that's basically what happened. And the lead singer of Trapped was just a huge dick. Like, it was blown out of proportion, and just being a huge dick about everything, and basically said that local bands are worthless and stuff like that. I'm like, wait a second, we just sold 25 tickets. The other band sold, 30 tickets. We sold 55 tickets, and your tour package sold 50. I think you kind of need some local bands, man.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, okay, this is weird. So the funny part was, I was actually inside drinking, just like talking with everyone that came out. And next thing you know, the drummer, Dan, who actually does the podcast with me, came up to me and was like, yo, we just got into a fight with Trapped. I'm like, what do you mean fight? Like, did you beat him up? No. And like, he explained what was on the video. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Did you get on a video? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, we got gold. So I was like, all right, get home now. Upload that to YouTube. I'll take care of the rest. So I was like, all right, where am I going to send this to? Am I going to send this to like Alternative Press? Am I going to send it to like Absolute Punk? I don't know. Who the fuck will pick this story up? So anyways, I'm like on Twitter. We were leaving the venue, going home, and I see a post from Andy Bain of Danger Kids. And I'm like, this is weird. He's having complaints about Trapped. I'm like, this is weird. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, how'd you hear about what happened tonight? He goes, what are you talking about? What happened tonight? I was like, oh shit. Told him the entire story, and then he went after the lead singer of Trapped. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, okay, so a little band scuffle, little Twitter war action between Danger Kids and Trapped. This is hysterical. The following day, almost, I think 9 or 10 different news stories picked this up, and I was like, oh my god, this is nuts. And I'd say maybe 7 or 8 of them mentioned my band name. I was like, holy shit, this is great.
Damn.
So I was famous for a day. Thank you, Andy. You are still my best friend. Ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy. I actually heard about that.
Yeah, it's so many. It's funny. Like every time I bring it up, they're like, "Yeah, man, did you hear about that story about you and did you hear that story about Trapped and Danger Kids fighting?" I'm like, funny you should mention that. But my God Almighty, it's crazy how a small little thing on the internet can just wind up out of control.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can't really determine what's gonna go. Like, get some tread.
Yeah. But thankfully, Trapped was like putting out like all these messages about, like if someone commented on their page, say, yeah, Trapped sucks, they come back and like, yeah, well, fuck you and your curly hair. It's like what? But it was to the point where it was impressive, where like the turnaround time from like the original comment to their comment was like under 5 minutes.
Dang.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, they're really bored on the tour bus. Then they have great internet too. So that's what you have to look forward to, is great internet on tour buses.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I have T-Mobile, so it was like when we were in like out west and in Canada, like no service.
Yeah.
No data. I felt so disconnected.
Yeah, but it also feels kind of good though at the same time.
Yeah. It's just when I'm not driving, I'm just literally sitting in the van doing absolutely nothing. Didn't bring any games. Just bored.
Yeah, but it happens. It happens to the best of us. Happens to the worst of us. So, but anyways, before I let you go, do you have any summer plans coming up?
I wish. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea about anything. Just getting back into the swing of things now that I'm back home after the Iperville tour. So now we're planning out our next steps.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Live it out, yeah.
Tours and other stuff. Eventually.
So no Warped Tour this year?
No Warped Tour this year.
Damn. Although I'm sure your album will be out on the or in the Stay Sick recordings tent.
Yeah, if they go out on Warped Tour again, then yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, if that
for 2018, shooting for 2018. Depends on how the album does over the next year.
That's true. Plus, if the rumors are accurate, then Attila is on this tour this year, so you would think they'd have some sort of I guess representative from the label.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah. Never know. So it might be a chill summer for you guys. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be like touring and stuff. We haven't confirmed any of our options yet because we just want to make sure we get the best options.
Yeah. So you guys have like a booking agent and everything?
We do not.
Oh, damn.
We have his name's Bobby Colton. He's a good friend of ours. He's technically, I guess, our booking agent, but not like a hired booking agent. But yeah, we don't have management or anything either. Just kind of self doing stuff still.
There you go, DIY, man.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like having the label is obviously awesome because Stay Sick's just like been really easy to work with. But it's like I do remember what it was like when you literally had to do everything yourself. Yeah. So it's cool to like kind of not have all that stress, but at the same time, it's like I just love doing everything. So
yeah, it's hard to give up something that you helped create to another person who basically wasn't there from the beginning and maybe doesn't have the same ideas as you have. It is kind of rough.
But I think we're working well with Stay Sick, so no complaints on that end. But
Yep.
maybe we'll get management and booking agent in the future. We definitely do want to get a booking agent, but no one wants to work with us.
Yeah, well, when you sound like 15 different bands in like 20 different genres, how can you work with you?
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah. As much as I'm kidding, a lot of people are thinking that.
Yeah, that is like, because I do understand like the business model is like being niche specific. So we did kind of do something different by playing around with so many different genres, but at the end of the day, we like what we're doing. Seems like people like the album too, so maybe we'll be the start of something new.
There you go. Or you can just follow along with like Enter Shikari or The Browning or Icy Stars and, just siphon off of their fans.
Yeah, I mean, why reinvent the wheel?
Exactly, even though you kind of did with this album.
I mean, and then anybody that's listening that thinks our album is absolute trash, like, I don't say trying something new in meaning like, oh, we're so original, because I don't claim that, but I do like our album, so.
Yep. And if you have anything negative to say, just go on their YouTube page and just start spamming everything.
Please just leave us the nastiest hate comment that you can muster.
Exactly, because what you morons aren't realizing is the more times you comment, whether it's hate or good, it helps with the numbers and it helps with popularity and a whole bunch of other great stuff. So
Exactly.
Keep on hating, dumbasses.
Appreciate it.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to let you go and eat your chicken, Alfredo?
Oh, yeah, just got done.
Hell yeah. So before I let you go, we usually play out a song to end the interview. Do you have any in mind that you want us to play out?
Off the album, or are you saying like any song ever?
Whatever you want. We could do something off the album. You could play out a song that you just like.
Dang, there's so many songs. I don't know what typically is like the audience on this, like what style, kind of like this genre or like other styles too.
Oof. It's a weird show, man. It's mostly hard rock and metal. Like we've had, Breaking Benjamin on, we have had Trivium on, but then we have, Frankie Arrow of My Chemical Romance. We have like Danger Kids. We have like Finch. It's really all over the board.
Oh, I do like the idea of Breaking Benjamin.
Okay.
What song? There's so many good songs. Let's do Breath.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a good one. Love that one.
All right, so here's Breath by Breaking Benjamin. That has nothing to do with villain of the story. All right, Christian, enjoy your dinner, and hopefully we'll have a part 2 soon.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course, man. Have a good night, dude.
Yeah, you too.